to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Kraus.
Hello. It's 2021, and the year is off to a interesting start.
Yeah.
Maybe I kind of brought it on myself last week.
I think there's a unfair expectation of 2021. We spent all of 2020 yelling at people to wear a simple mask and show simple courtesy to their fellow man, and that proved to be too difficult for many. That's not something that changes overnight.
And it always is, you know? It always is. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that.
No, we are your escape from the world for at least 30 minutes, maybe more. And we do that by answering your questions here on the Q&A. How do you get your question answered on the show? By emailing us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com, tweeting to us at BumbleKast, commenting on any of the YouTube videos. If you're a patron, posting just about anywhere, message us, whatever, or in the Q&A channel on the Discord. If you want your question answered sooner rather than later, become a $5 patron over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, or send us 2 coffees. That's $6 over at coffee.com, ko-fi.com/BumbleKast. Be sure to include your name and your question. Otherwise, we're just going to take your money and run. Now, if you laugh because it's true. If your question hasn't been answered on the show recently, if it's covered in one of the FAQs over at bumbleking.com, or if it's going to be involved with future plans for the Archie Sonic series, we're going to not touch on those because we've either already answered them or it's something that we just can't get into right now. With all that out of the way, let's get into the priority Q&A. Kyle, if you would be so kind.
Indeed. Let's start off with something from Off. For Ian, the man who usually has a plan, Chaos Emeralds and Soul Emeralds are super and blazing forms respective to each particular type of shiny magic rock. If Sonic were to use the Soul Emeralds to transform, would he become Burning Sonic? Would he be pink? In the inverse situation, if Blaze used the Chaos Emeralds, would she become Super Blaze? Would she be yellow? I need to know for reasons.
Okay, so official answer, I don't know. We haven't seen any cross-world shenanigans like that, and I believe that topic is just completely up in the air. It may be that only Blaze can access the Soul Emeralds because she is their guardian. It could be that the Chaos Emeralds are still locked to male hedgehogs. I don't know. What I want to see happen, and big asterisks on this is no way official. This is pure fanon on my part. I like to think that the Chaos Emeralds always grant some kind of golden super state. That's just kind of their thing. So Blaze would go gold, but instead of calling her Super Blaze, which loses the alliteration, she becomes Brilliant Blaze.
Oh.
Meanwhile, the Soul Emeralds always grant some kind of fiery super form. So Sonic would take on kind of like a blue petrol flame look, a blue fire type of thing. And we have to keep the alliteration, so he would become Scorching Sonic. Eh? Huh?
Yeah.
You on board with this? I like it. I want to see it happen.
Well, I mean, you're the one who could theoretically try it and see what happens. I mean, you're the one. You're the man with the plan, like Off says. Well, you usually have a plan. At least.
What I really want to see is a Generations type game where you play as Sonic or Blaze. Blaze is more 2D gameplay a la classic Sonic to focus on the technical aspect, since platforming in 3D is already kind of tricky, and keep Sonic to the arcadey super fast cinematic style of gameplay, very Generations like, and jump between the 2 dimensions, throwbacks to stuff from Sonic Rush Adventure and other games. And then at the big finale, you've gathered up all the emeralds. And if you, don't think about it, you grab the emeralds as Sonic, you grab the emeralds as Blaze, Super Sonic, Burning Blaze, blah, you're done. But if you're like, wait a minute, what if I decide to mix and match? Boom, you unlock the 2 alternate forms. It's an Easter egg. It's a semi-hidden feature. It's super cool. It doesn't really change anything gameplay-wise, but it's just a neat thing on the side. I want to see it happen. Why am I not a producer, Kyle? Why am I just a lowly freelance writer? A disposable peon in the cog of the great machine that is Sonic.
You should ask Sega that. Why haven't they hired you yet? Officially.
Well, for one thing, I don't speak Japanese.
That's okay. They have an American branch and a European branch.
Yeah, but they don't develop the games.
Well, they used to. That doesn't count. I guess. It doesn't count anymore.
We also used to have dinosaurs, Kyle, but we don't have those anymore either. And they were really cool.
We have some. We have birds. We have crocodiles and alligators. They kind of count. They haven't changed much since then. Anyway, let's go on to the next question here from Diane W. While you were planning on doing a Lost World adaptation in the Archie Comic before it was canceled, have you already asked Sega how Eggman discovered Lost Hex to begin with? Or would your adaptation of Lost World have your own interpretation / headcanon story for how Eggman discovered Lost Hex? And have you also asked Sega why the Deadly Six desire to destroy Sonic's world?
We did actually do that story of Eggman discovering Lost Hex. I believe it was the tie-in little backup story illustrated by Ryan Jample. And it was just a matter of, Eggman is searching the world for various things to exploit and just happened to find it. And we didn't get any notes on that, so I'm guessing that's the way it goes. As for why the Deadly Six are jerks, apparently that's just in their nature. They are a violent, destructive lot, because that's what Zeddy do.
All right, and our next question is from Scruffy Matt. Hello, boys. Hypothetical situation for both of you. The trickster god John Gray comes to you and, whilst completely failing to hold in his maniacal laughter, gives you the power to move one classic Sonic character into the modern cast and one modern character into the classic cast. Who do you choose to swap around?
Honey from the classic.
That's funny, because that's exactly what I was going to say, too. Go ahead.
I mean, she'd kind of covered the same ground as Tangle in that it's a vivacious female brawler, but I think Honey's poise and business savvy, at least in my interpretation of her, would help her stand out a bit. She could be fun. We don't really have a lot of knuckle dusters in the cast. So I'd like to see her get more exposure in general.
Sure.
For modern, I'd like to see Shadow, because the idea of converting the edgelord into this roly-poly little thing cracks me up. And I could see him being kind of like a proto-man in classic Sonic. He just kind of shows up, gives you the humph, and drops an emerald or jumps off stage or blows up the door or something. I remember seeing a fan game years back that had Shadow as playable in a classic sense. Maybe it was running off of the advanced sprites, but I feel like it was more like pure classic. Regardless, his gimmick was that he could do kind of like a short ring dash and homing attack, whereas classic Sonic was still, you actually have to aim. I thought that was a neat way to, keep to the core gameplay and vary it up a little bit without making him too broken. So I like those as potentials. What about you, Kyle?
Well, I mean, you said Honey, and that's who I was going to choose for swapping from classic. But, outside of her, I don't know. You might be able to have some fun with Bean, but him by himself is, I don't know. I don't know if he works by himself necessarily, but
out of all the hooligans, I would say Fang maybe would work the best transplanted solo.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's kind of like I want to see more Mighty, but I would feel bad bringing him over and not Ray.
Right.
Yes, I feel guilt out of this hypothetical scenario.
Right. Well, yeah. And bringing Fang over kind of breaks up the hooligans, and it's just not as... I don't know. So I guess I'm just going to stick with Honey. And as far as transferring someone from modern over to classic, I don't know. Shadow is a good one, but I feel like his gameplay would be too similar to Sonic's, maybe. So I'm trying to think of someone else who would be who could have more fun with, would be different. I don't know, maybe Rouge? You do something interesting with her for gameplay wise. I wonder how she would work with mix in with the classic cast.
Like, I'm also inclined to say Silver, because how would that translate to the classic design? That'd be hilarious. But
true.
How would you make his TK work in 2D? I mean, there's ways to do it, but how do you do it that maintains the speed? There's a lot of, puzzle options you could do with him, which might be interesting for, completely different gameplay experience.
Yeah.
But one of the things about Classic is that, at least along the mainline games, everyone plays pretty much the same. It's just they all have their own little gimmick, but the flow of gameplay is pretty much the same between all of them. So what would you do that with Silver that doesn't slow everything down?
Maybe as you're running along, you hit another button to activate the TK powers, and then you can throw one enemy at another enemy or something, or gather a bunch of them up and then throw them at the boss.
Maybe.
At the end of the stage or something like that. Something that keeps things moving, but you also have like a ever-growing Katamari following you around.
That's the other thing, is that Classic Sonic is extremely simple in its execution. Everybody is a single button press.
Right.
Whether it's Tails flying, Knuckles gliding, Mighty smashing, Ray gliding, they're all the same, one button and D-pad combo.
Sure.
You add another button to Silver, and he's already more complex than everyone else, and it's weird.
That's true. That's true.
I'm not saying it's wrong, it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not incorrect about that. It's just, I don't know how else to do it.
I know, that's the thing.
I think he's just more complex. That's just kind of his power set. I don't know, man. All good ideas. Up next, we got one from Noni. I'm currently trying to get a world Bible together for a project I'm on. Looking at how Dragoon is getting together and your work on the Sonic and Mega Man series, do you have any suggestions /tips /templates one could use to make sure they don't accidentally trip on their own lore?
I would love to show you the Dragoon series Bible that is currently being, edited and cultivated and whatnot, but that would give away way too much. So, no templates, but tripping up on your own lore is absolutely a concern. So I would recommend you approach it this way. Compile the most crucial data first. Who is your core cast? What is the principal settings? And what is the overall narrative for the story you're working on? Where is everybody going? And then from that core cast, add in some of the details, like your character starts here and their character arc is going to go here because of reasons. You don't have to write up the whole story, because that's obviously what the final project is going to be, but make sure that you put down the mile markers for yourself so you don't forget where you were going with things, and you can look back later and go, oh, my story isn't really going in that direction anymore. Does this still work? Does this end goal still make sense? And if not, you're not completely at a loss as to what to do. You still have context for what your greater schemes were. From there, you can start adding in the minutia. What is the climate of this particular setting? What is the economic status? What are points of interest? What are the animals? Stuff that would be in the background, stuff that might affect the plot in general. And then once you've got all that done, then you can start seeding in all the little fun factoids, the Easter eggs, the things that you would want to show off if you had the time and the space. But make sure that you are building it with the core material first, so that you have that blueprint for yourself, and then build off of that. I've kind of fallen in love with the way Google Docs works, in that you can set up your own table of contents by selecting different headers, so that you just open up the left-hand tab and it will give you, here are all the primary points, here are all their subpoints, and all those subpoints, etc., etc. And that way you can jump to your key ideas. And if you want to get into the weeds, it's all there. But if you just need to look at something at a glance, if you need a reference, you forgot that character name, all you have to do is go back to it real quick. I would also recommend creating at least a light character map or relationship web, I guess is a better term for it, just to cover who the main cast is and what the relationship is to each other. Because you don't want to get distracted with, okay, my character is going through X, Y, and Z, but how does that interplay with the other characters? How do they fold into it? You don't want a character to act out of character because your principal has to act a certain way and the story has to go in that direction. So that helps you, not forget anyone if your cast starts to balloon out of control. So, and as you're putting this web together, you might discover there are connections that you hadn't thought of. If character A is rivals with character B, but is friends with character C, who is also friends with B, that's an interplay that you may not immediately see because you're focusing on the primary rivalry, but how does the friendship of character C affect that dynamic, So, again, start with your absolute core ideas, the stuff that is absolutely necessary to tell your story and apply your setting, and then build carefully off of that without getting too lost in the details.
Nice. That's a lot of good tips in there.
That's because I've gone through 11 different versions of the Drogoon Bible, and all of them were at least 30 pages long. I've had some practice.
Yeah, I can imagine. Next up, we got a question from Blue Mickey Mouse. How much can Tails bench?
I'd say the kid is surprisingly beefy. I mean, granted, you could say that carrying Sonic and Knuckles at the same time is more of the lift of his tails, but being able to maintain the grip on the two of them is still a bit of a feat. So I'd say enough to give you a black eye.
Even with his little rubber hose arms flailing around everywhere, because they all have rubber hose arms, though, to be fair. Even
those
Knuckles.
Rubber hose legs reach Mach 1. Don't diss.
True.
That's a secret. They're all limber.
Yeah. Even Knuckles' arms are all floppy everywhere. That's how it is, That's just Sonic. Awesome Cakster's up next. Besides Super Sonic, Super Shadow, Super Silver, and Burning Blaze, what transformations would you like to see return in games of other medias?
I really want to see Hyper come back.
Yeah, me too.
Even if it's just like an Easter egg unlockable for funsy thing. I understand. I think we've touched on this in the past.
Yeah.
I understand why it shouldn't be a regular thing, because once you let the genie out of the bottle, the power level creep becomes ridiculous. So keep Hyper as a super special condition that's really hard to get to narratively, or as an Easter egg or something, but I want to see Hyper come back because this is just cool.
Yeah, I would love to see Hyper come back. Also, Super Tails, he gets the short end of the stick, not being a hedgehog, so bring him back. That would be nice. And Super Knuckles. Yes, please.
In modern, sure. We got him back in Mania.
Well, yeah, sure. But yeah, in modern. Because, I mean, they really gypped us out of having them in the final battle of Sonic Heroes. I mean, come on.
I still remember being angry.
Come on.
I was so excited. I was like, oh yeah, finally, super forms from my boys. But what's with the shields?
What's going on? Why are they like this? Sega, why are you like this?
I can still remember the heartbreak of that entire sequence. It's like, all right, we finally get a good look at Neo Metal. No, he's still in Shadow. Well, he's going to do something cool. No, he's a really stupid, junky looking dragon. Oh, he's just going to sit there while we pelt him with things and kind of tedious boss fight.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're getting a triple super going on, just like Super Shadow. That was so cool. And no, it's not. Well, at least the music's good.
Yeah, but there's invisible walls everywhere, and it's a glitchy, buggy mess, and it's just so anticlimactic all around. You're doing me dirty, Sega. You're doing me dirty. All right. Well, to close us out on the priority Q&A, we're going to go ahead and get caught up on Andrew D's backlog in what I'm calling the Andrew D backlog blowout, because I have overlooked his questions for a little while now, and I feel bad about that. I'm very sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll just catch up on all of them so we can get him squared away and do right by him. So here we go.
Rapid fire priority Q&A for Andrew. Let's go.
Here we go. Here's the first one. Was Dr. Starline and his name based on the glitch character Weknia and his in-game name 10 star characters, since it is basically a line of stars?
Yep, that's exactly it.
All right. What are some other classic public domain stories you would like to see for future storybook series? Personally, I'd love to see Journey to the West, Sonic and the Journey to the West, and something based on Greek mythology like Jason and the Argonauts, Sonic and the Argonauts. I'm also curious what other stories in the Arabian Nights collection might bring to the table, but I'm assuming they were what Secret Rings referred to as the additional adventures that Sonic had with his Secret Rings friends. I'd love to see those explored in the comics.
Well, you already hit on the two that I would have suggested.
Yeah, the two big ones.
And, I don't know, would Treasure Island work?
Maybe.
I think in a previous episode we talked about Wizard of Oz.
Yes, we did.
And riffed on that for a bit.
I think this is where the idea for this question came from. It was kind of a follow-up to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But beyond that, nothing immediately jumps to mind. I don't know if you could do a whole game on Huckleberry Finn. Although you lose that on the option of Huckleberry Spin.
Ian. Is this what we're doing now? Is this it? Is this it? Are we done? Is this a BumbleKast? Just kidding. I love it. I don't know if we'd ever get a chance to do them in the comic, but I don't know, maybe like a annual that's focused on that sort of thing might be worth pitching. I don't know. Food for thought. You can give it a try. Next question. People often talk about wanting to see modern Sonic characters in classic Sonic stories such as Shadow, but I'm not sure how that would be possible. How would you incorporate or explain modern characters appearing in classic stories, especially if you were to assume they have never met Sonic until their modern introductions? Funny, we just kind of covered this a little bit.
Yeah, perfect timing on your part, Andrew. Excellently done. See, this is where the whole alternate reality past thing actually plays to our favor, because I would just say treat them as their own thing. Treat classic Shadow, classic Rouge, classic Big, classic Gamma, classic whatever as just the classic incarnation. Don't even think about, how does it make sense with the modern equivalent, because they're divergent. They're different things.
Right. Yeah.
And, keep things super simple with the classic incarnation so we don't have space aliens and dead children and whatnot. Just, Shadow is the dark and brooding Sonic clone, more or less. And not literal clone, I just mean in terms of gameplay. And, go from there. Keep it super simple, not heavy on any backstory. Just run with it. You don't have... That's the beauty of the classic stuff, is you don't have to have this big involved narrative. Keep it light and simple and fun.
Exactly. I don't disagree with that at all. And our last question from Andrew D. Mr. Penders is claimed to own the evil counterpart of Sonic, which is a character based on a SEGA-owned character. He is also claimed to own Shade, as she is a character based on one of his. So if Ken owns Anti-Sonic/Scourge, since he made him based on Sonic, then Sega should have owned Shade, since she was supposedly based on Julie Sue. Otherwise, if Ken owns Shade, then Sega must own Anti-Sonic/Scourge, right? Any other way doesn't make sense. Would you happen to know if Sega owns Shade or Anti-Sonic/Scourge? Somehow it seems as if they don't own either, which is somewhat paradoxical. Although I remember you once saying that Sega claimed to own Shade, but had no intention of using her, which is unfortunate if true.
Okay, so big disclaimer here. I am not a copyright legal expert by any stretch. I'm not even like an armchair legal enthusiast. I don't know the ins and outs and the details and whatnot. From my understanding of how things work, Evil Sonic should be, at the very least, unownable by anyone, because he is very clearly and distinctly derivative of a copyrighted character.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to slap a leather jacket on Mickey Mouse and call him Evil Mickey, Disney would be kicking in my door. That should be common sense. As for Shade, while the BioWare reps may have said that Dark Chronicles was not based off of anything in particular, I think it's pretty clear where their inspiration came from. But Shade is also, I think, visually and legally distinct enough that she can't be called a copy of Julie Sue. She is very clearly inspired by. I would say that, if you try to deny that, you're just being pedantic. But she doesn't share any character design elements outside of being a female echidna, which is way, way too vague to lay claim to. If that's your basis of argument, then she's also a copy of Tikal, which, doesn't share any of the same name or weapon types or design elements. She is pretty clearly her own character, just inspired by. Same kind of goes for the Nocturnus and all of that. So I think it would be extremely difficult to make a solid case for either of those, to say that Evil Sonic is legally distinct or to say Shade is not. But again, I am not a lawyer and I'm not going to speak for any particular company and their stance on it. And, frankly, I have no way of influencing that. That's what the companies are up to decide. Now, the issues, we know that certain parties would raise a fuss should Shade or some form of Evil Sonic, he's gone, folks, he's gone, were to be used in future media. And the question becomes, is it worth using that material knowing that you're going to have to go through the expenses of a lawsuit? And the answer is pretty much no, because I don't think Dark Chronicles did very well. It didn't review well. I don't know what its sales numbers were, but I don't think it sold particularly well. And it's not fondly remembered by and large, and I know it's not considered canon to the modern Sonic storyline. So I'm pretty sure that it's just kind of stuff that's going to be left by the wayside. I could be wrong. I thought we had lost the Hooligans and Mighty and Ray forever, and they're back. They're not tied to the same kind of rigmarole as any of the Chronicles stuff is, but there's a lot of stuff that I assumed was a given within the Sonic universe, and I've been proven wrong. So I don't know. It's completely over my head and out of my hands.
Who knows? Maybe they'll come back someday. Ian, tell us a little bit about the Bumble Comic Shop.
Bumble Comic Shop is where you can buy comics that I have written at convention prices and get a free signature on every single thing you order. Head over to BumbleKing.com and look under the Shops tab to head on to the Bumble Comic Shop. I've got Sonic stuff, Star Wars stuff, My Little Pony stuff, My Little Pony meets Transformers, and a slew of other things. There's also a couple of free samples in there as well, if you can find them. Mm-hmm. Happy hunting.
Nice. Go check it out. Let's hop into the standard Q&A now. First question comes from Adam. If Bunny were to come back in IDW, would you write her getting her abilities from being a victim of this universe's form of roboticization, which you have stated is basically the metal virus, or would she get her abilities from some other source?
I don't know. I really have no idea. It all depends on the context of how she would come back and who's writing it and what we're going to do with it. I really have no idea. There are too many outstanding variables for me to say, yes, I would definitely do this. There's anything's on the table. I don't know, man.
It would also be spoilers if it actually did happen. I mean, come on.
Yeah, there's that too.
I mean, come on. If it ever did happen, you wouldn't want to be spoiled. You learn with everybody.
I mean, I felt comfortable trotting out the Brilliant Blaze Scorching Sonic idea because I don't think that's ever going to fly.
No.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's never going to happen. So, sure, I'll throw that one out there. I'm still holding out hope for the Freedom Fighters, so that one I don't want to speculate too openly about.
Uh-oh, Ian, you saying that? Some people are going to get real mad at you. They think you're a liar.
Yeah, well.
Those people,
That's where we've gotten by 2021. There's no more indignance. There's no more apologies or kowtowing or explanations. It's like, yeah, well.
Yeah. Well,
people are going to think what they're going to think.
Yeah, have fun, guys. Next question, Joshua Vids 5. If another Sonic character were to arrive in Smash, who would that character be?
Dr. Eggman.
Yeah.
I know people want to see Shadow or Metal Sonic, and that would be cool. Tails, definitely, but Eggman is like one of the most iconic video game villains ever.
Yeah.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
And he could very easily be like a heavy Bowser Jr.
Yeah.
Like, the build would be so easy to come up with. So, yeah, no. Eggman, by far, easiest pick.
Yeah, there's also an argument to be made for Knuckles. He would essentially be kind of like an Echo Fighter of Little Mac, you could say, with the gliding. Sure. I could see that. But as far as notability and legendary status, yeah, I agree with you, Eggman, for sure.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed that Dr. Wily is just an assist trophy, you know?
Yeah.
I'd like to see him as playable alongside Bowser and Eggman. But
yeah, I agree.
He's in there at least.
Yeah. All right, next question is from Leron M. Hey guys, in your brutally honest opinion, do you think Pontap and Graf are bad writers, or do you think the fandom puts too much blame on them? Do you think the recent characterization of the cast is mostly their ideas, or are they working under tight restraints, possibly more than you, and just going in the direction Sega wants?
No shade tossed at Mr. Pontic or Mr. Graf. And yeah, the fandom is exceedingly, excessively harsh in their criticism of all things Sonic. That's kind of what the fandom has been known for, among other things. I'm not saying that I would necessarily agree with everything that they've done or every line that they've written, but that's the thing with Sonic media is that, you know, there's a lot of different interpretations. You know, right. It's not necessarily one is right or wrong. I mean, there can be wrong Sonic writing, sure, but I don't think it was ever like wrong. I mean, there's a lot of shade thrown at the way Sonic Colors is written. I think that's one of the best written Sonic games. That's what a lot of Sonic should be.
I kind of love Sonic Colors.
Lighthearted.
Yeah. I kind of love Sonic Colors characterization and writing. It's fantastic.
And how much they had control over the narrative and how much Sega was directing it, we'll never know unless they outright state it. But given from my experience, I am willing to bet that it's mostly Sega with their hand on the wheel and that the writers contribute what they can. But it's Sega's project, you know? I honestly don't know. It could have been different from project to project, to be perfectly honest. But I don't know. They made me laugh. They made me cheer. I think they've endured way, way too much than anyone should over a freaking Sonic story, you know? I know we're passionate about the little blue hedgehog, but calm down. Death threats and disparaging their entire careers and their moral compass is ludicrous.
It's kind of funny because I remember Sonic Colors coming out and people were praising the writing, and that was as far as I saw. I don't know, maybe it's just because I wasn't following the direct Sonic fandom, but more the, I guess, casual Sonic crowd who were looking at it from the outside.
It also depends on what era of the critique you're looking at.
Sure.
Like, I remember when Sonic Adventure 2 first came out, there was a lot of criticism that it was way too dark.
Yep.
And way too out of theme. And what's with all the humans and the real life settings? We need to get back to basics.
Yep.
And so we got Sonic Heroes. There you go. Lighthearted story, super simple narrative, bright colors and outlandish areas. And it's like, no. Where's all the dark and meaningful storytelling? Shadow's story was so moving. Why can't you do more like that? It's like, you can't win for losing.
No,
you know?
No, you're right. Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird. You get one crowd. You get one crowd saying one thing, and then you do something to appease that crowd, and then you get another crowd criticizing you for doing the thing that you thought the crowd wanted you to do. So, you know, you can't please anybody.
It's kind of a sliding scale. The more time goes on, it will be remembered fondly.
Yeah, nostalgia is a big factor too.
I mean, there are Sonic 06 apologists now.
Yep.
More and more.
Yep.
And it's like, here we go. We're at this part of the Sonic cycle.
And for a lot of them, yeah, it's like a lot of them now. It's like, oh yeah, this is the first Sonic game I ever played. I was like 3, 4, 5 years old. I love it. And it's like, well, you know, I guess I can't argue with that logic, I guess. But at the same time, it's not a good game. It's not good. But, you know, you do you, buddy. You have fun with that. Next up, from Snooty Boy 15, they want to know.
No. Snooty Boy 55.
Oh, okay. Thank you for correcting me on that. Snooty Boy 55. I need to get.
Don't want to get confused with Snooty Boy 15.
Yeah, I don't know.
Different people.
I don't know who Snooty Boy 15 is. Maybe he's very snooty. Maybe Snooty Boy 55 is less snooty. Maybe that's why there were 55 versions of them. They were tweaking the snootiness as they went through each incarnation. Anyway, in the previews of Sonic Bad Guys number 3, we see Starline type some kind of password into his computer. I was wondering if you'd tell us what Starline's password is. They want to hack Starline.
Shift 8, Shift 8, Shift 8, Shift 8, Shift 8, Shift 8, Shift 8.
Oh, a line of stars.
And see, the thing is, that was actually meant to be a visual gag referencing the Wechidna or Wekina or whatever you pronounce it.
Line of
stars in the code.
Yeah.
So I'm not being facetious. That's the joke. That's the visual gag.
Next up, Geo. What anime would Sonic cross over with? DBZ, One Piece, My Hero Academia? I think we've talked about this several times, but that's okay.
I think DBZ would make enough sense since there's already a fair number of parallels.
Yep.
I
don't know anything about One Piece.
My Hero Academia would be fun in that whole crazy powers and wholesomeness that's just so endearing. God, Deku and Tails in a room together. Heaven help us all. But I don't know if it's Sonic in some version of Gundam.
Sure, why not?
See him take down tall geese all by himself and everyone's just gawking. That'd be funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'm not
I don't know.
Super familiar with Sailor Moon. I don't know how well that would mesh.
Well, I mean, it's just an animated Sentai, so
I suppose. And that, I almost said Power Rangers, but that's not really an anime, is it? It's live action Sentai.
Yes.
Don't think it would particularly work with Full Metal Alchemist or Cowboy Bebop. They're kind of atonal to that. I really, really, really don't want to see an Attack on Titan crossover. That would be gross. Like, talk about tonal dissonance. Yeah, no. Not at all. Unless it was Silver. Yeah. Silver exclusively crossing over. Maybe throw Blaze in there. We could get Dark. That might work. Not a full crossover.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I know very little about Attack on Titan, but from what I do know, yeah, I think you're right.
It's a hard watch. I've not seen very much, but it's like, okay, I don't think I can watch this one.
Mm-hmm.
Aaliyah has been super into Yona of the Dawn, and I just throw that out there because we've been talking about it a lot, but no, I don't think that crossover would work.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you.
It's a really interesting premise. Side tangent here. It's about a girl named Yona who is a sheltered princess and the reincarnation of the king who had unified the land. And in a series of very tragic events is sent on the run and has to find the 4 reincarnations of the dragon-imbued bodyguards of the original king and find a way to, bring about justice and peace. I'm not doing it service because it's on the surface, it's kind of like a reverse harem anime. There's the one girl surrounded by her very pretty boy band, more or less. But it's also hyper violent in some places and rife with political intrigue. And the whole thing is built around multiple players doing their own thing and how it interacts with each other, and how one adventure in this region suddenly turns into this huge political power play you never saw coming like 7 chapters later.
Huh.
And I don't know, man. It's kind of got a little bit of everything. It's, if you're into, what do you call it, the shoujo manga? If you're into very pretty people being very pretty, you got that. Keisha is a very pretty man. If you're also into dudes hacking other dudes in half on the battlefield, you got that too.
Sure, why not?
Like there's one dude whose ability is basically if he makes eye contact, he locks up your body to the point where he will stop your heart and cause like convulsions and such. But if he does it too long, it reverses and hits him just as hard. And all the dragons, as they're called, have like these really neat balances to their power set. They're like super powerful in one regard, but there's also some kind of drawback. So they're all balanced in an interesting way. The whole thing's really neat. And it doesn't get as much attention as a lot of the other ones because it isn't in like Shonen Jump. So it's kind of getting the short end of the stick there. But yeah, give it a shot. Look up Yona of the Dawn. You got like a 2-season anime and I think two OAVs that are all pretty decently done.
Cool.
You've got sheltered little innocent princess straight up murder a dude because he's practicing human trafficking. Okay?
Nice.
There are character arcs, dude, like roller coasters. It's a neat series and it should get more exposure. So that's my gift to you, everyone. Go read Yona.
I'm getting a few suggestions from the chat. Sonic Cross Speed Racer. It might work.
He's a demon on sneakers.
Yeah. And I don't know much about it, but it's Sonic Cross Beastars.
I haven't seen Beastars, but it's a furry anime, so that would make enough sense, I guess.
Yeah, it would, but it's kind of, I think it's kind of dark and has a lot of sexual content, so.
Oh, so it's a Sonic fanfic. Gotcha.
Actually, it might be. I don't know. They may have just sawed off the serial numbers and said, "Here you go." It's Twilight all over again. Or no, it's 50 Shades of Grey all over again. No, I don't think it's that. If you're a Beastars fan, we're not disparaging your favorite anime. We're just making a joke. Next question comes from Frost the White Lion. Does Amy and Silver have some kind of super speed in their own way? I know Sega like to make all characters slow just to make Sonic the only one fast, and to downgrade Shadow, Blaze, and most definitely Tails and Knuckles. What are your thoughts if Sonic friends are fast in their own way or not?
Quick aside, I got a specific note in the script saying Shadow is exactly the same speed as Sonic. So, he's not downgraded. He is just as fast as Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
What about Blaze?
I don't know. I imagine she's at least comparable in the same way that Knuckles and Tails are. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. You have to look at the game material, and it's kind of inconsistent. So Amy has been Sonic fast in all the advanced games and is at least comparable in Heroes. I mean, she's a speed type there. So it stands to reason she's at least Knuckles and Tails fast on a good day, if they're deciding she can do that or not. Personally, I would like it if they just, cut out the middleman and made her comparably fast to all of them and get her out of a car, because, let the one lead female character in your cast keep up with the boys, please.
Yeah. And also give her a super form, please. You can do that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As for Silver, he's got to be at least Sonic fast when empowered by his TK, because in the Generations fight, you're chasing him the whole time.
Right.
Or it reverses and he's chasing you. So he's, maybe just on foot. He's ploddingly slow like he was in 06, which is fine because managing super speed and, platform puzzling, no, we already covered that with Classic. But in terms of flying around with his TK, he's got to be Sonic speed. And, the Rivals games kind of have him running along that line too. I think he might. Does he float around like he's TK powered in those games? God,
honestly, I can't tell you because I've not played them. I should change that.
I like them, but we've covered that.
Yeah, I know. I should change that. I should play them.
I would say he's got to be at least Sonic Fast when he's propelled by his TK power. It's the only way things make sense.
Yeah. And that's where you kind of get into gameplay cutscene dissonance, or it's not cutscene, but you know what I mean. Where it's like some media, they're fast, others they're not, and it's kind of like, okay.
Shadow can hover with his shoes. He does it in his first cutscene in Sonic Adventure 2. You never see that come up again.
Never it happens again. Yeah, it's so weird. So, yeah, I think there's just so much that they just don't... They make concessions for gameplay that don't really actually apply to the characters in terms of story, so I don't know. It's just...
Make me king of Sonic. Let me do postmodern Sonic. Full reboot, take all that is good, and keep it. And then do it from square one with a clear direction.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Infinity Gauntlet. Let me snap my fingers. Make me God of Sonic. Let me do this. Let me fix things. Why, Cruel Fate? Why?
Get rid of the two worlds crap. Get rid of the alternate universe classic crap. Just make it all one. Unify everything. At least that's what I would do. All right, next question, and our last question comes from Sherman P. Has IDW ever thought about doing spotlight issues for Sonic akin to the mini spotlight issues Simon Furman did for the Transformers in its early runs? See Spotlight Grimrock, Hot Rod, Optimus Prime, etc.
Not that I've heard, but IDW Sonic really hasn't been shy about doing spin-off stuff, given that we've already got 2 miniseries and 2 annuals under our belt. So I wouldn't say it's not possible. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it myself.
I'm not familiar with the Spotlight books. I assume they're just like stories that are focusing on a specific character for an issue or whatnot, just like a spin-off sort of thing.
Taking a super quick glance over, it looks like it's just a standalone Grimlock story. So that's what I'm guessing.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. That's kind of what Sonic Universe
was. Just think of it as like
just like single
48-page special, but it's Shadow. 48-page special, but it's big.
Ooh, big. Gonna have giant size Shadow the Hedgehog.
48-page special about big, and
giant size big.
47 of the pages are him fishing, trying to catch one thing, and then the last page is him starting to reel in, but he misses it. Oh, well.
Oh. That's sad. Poor Big. Anyway, that's going to do it for this edition of the BumbleKast. We got all our questions in. And so hope you guys are happy. Hope you're happy with this episode. Jeez, we put in a lot of effort see, I can't even talk. That's how much work we put in. Anyway, Ian, give a shout out to the lovely people who helped make this show possible.
Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Robotnik Holmes, Mike B., Justin G., Torchbound, Coupling Crew 128, Do As Diz Din, Diane W., Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Andrew D., John M., Dawn B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle, Silly String, Takaro, Sony, Salute Your Cat, Dave M., Justin S., Blue Title Gamer, Invade Turbo Tunis, Overthinking Films, Tick Tick, Final Neo, Papa Tripodopoulos, Off, Noni, Dagama F. Wow, Jonathan D., PC the Unicorn, William D., Rachel W., Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Preston M., Piggy Bank, Daniel B., J. Frost, Blue Mickey Mouse, Bradley T.T., Jonathan L., Owen B.D., Dadler the Dalek, Somewhat Gooey, Jib, Sapphire Scarletta, Turbo, and Jason N.
I like the cut of that Jib, and also all the others. Thank you, everybody, for supporting us on the Patreon. Where can people find you on the internet, Ian?
You can find me on Twitter at IanFlynnBKC, my personal website, BumbleKing.com, where you can find the Bumble Comic Shop, along with a whole slew of other things, including news. I forgot to mention that at the very beginning. We got caught up in the gloom and doom. I am officially announced to be working on a comic book for the Rivals of Aether series.
Ooh.
Can't talk about it any more than that, but there were some preview pages released. We've got Jack Lawrence on the line art, Matt Herms on colors, and Jack Marley on letters. They're all veterans of the Sonic book. You know their work. It's absolutely gorgeous. Super excited about it, and can't wait to talk about more about it and other stuff I'm doing with that group. Until then, you can check out my original series, Drogoon. That's DROGUNE.com. We've moved to a monthly release schedule, so you can expect a glut of pages here at the end of the month. Patrons are receiving weekly lore page updates, except for the past 2 weeks because I've been busy with other work, but I'm going to catch up and make it up to them. So don't be dissuaded. There will be incentive there. Plus, you get free gift art by Adam Bryce Thomas every month.
Nice.
Kyle, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can follow me on Twitter at KyleJCRB. You can also head on over to kngi.org. You can find my other show, Nitro Game Injection, which you can listen to streaming live on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time over there at kngi.org, and also on the KNGI Network YouTube channel. And that's a show all about video game music, specifically arrangements, remixes, covers, and all that good, fun stuff. Also, if you head on over to kngi.org, you'll find archived episodes of the BumbleKast in MP3 downloadable format for your listening pleasure, as well as links to all the podcast feeds and everything you can dream of over there. It's like Zombocom. Welcome to KNGI. You can do anything at KNGI, as long as it's listens to some shows. So go ahead and head on over there and check it out.
You can contact the show on Twitter at BumbleKast, emails at BumbleKast@yahoo.com, and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, our personal YouTube channel, and kngi.org.
Don't forget to also go check out the Bumble Store, shop.spreadshirt.com/Bumble Store, where you can get some physical Bumble goods for your Bumble home, or maybe for your Bumble body. You can also deck yourself out in Bumble gear, so be sure to go check that out.
Get yourself a mask to block all your Bumble coughing.
Yeah. I don't want to see or hear your mouth, so slap a mask over it.
You can also catch us for BumbleKast Gaming live streaming on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/BumbleKastGaming. Sundays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. What is it? Follow us on Twitch? Not subscribe.
Follow. Yes, correct.
Follow us on Twitch to find out if we're going to be streaming any other time throughout the week. Or subscribe and help support us. Do both. Why not?
Yeah.
Good at multitasking. I know you. You're handsome and you smell good too.
You can also keep an eye on Twitter for that. But, you already wear pants to cover your other nasty holes. So, put a mask on too. I just wanted to add that in there, Well, I assume you'd wear pants when you go out, at least. Or at least some sort of garment to cover your gross holes. So keep your other gross hole covered, please. I've broken Ian, apparently. Wow, I really have broken him. I gotta say it like that because it's true.
That's going to wrap us up for this edition of the BumbleKast. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And we'll see you next week for more Q&A.
Keep your gross holes covered, everybody. Are you okay?
My ribs hurt.
I mean... Make that a shirt or a poster. Oh boy.
I was not prepared for that.
Well, I mean, it's true.
I don't think they do pants.
No, I'm not saying they do pants on the store. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying if they had pants, that would be a logo. That would be printed across the butt. It would be your little icon face and it would say, cover up your gross holes.
You could do it on a mask.
Yeah. There's multiple holes up in your head, I guess. Oh, man.
Exactly. And they're gross. I don't want to see them. I don't want to breathe in whatever you're breathing out. It's disgusting.
If I get time, I might actually do that. Oh, man.
Please don't tell me you've now regressed back to being out of breath all the time and unable to speak.
No, that was just a workout. I may have thrown my shoulder out, though.
Oh. I'm sorry for hurting you.
Stop it. Shut up.
Okay. Are we done?
Calm blue ocean. Okay. I'm good.
Okay, good.
All right. So, I think I'm done for the evening.
Okay. You go lay down. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. I still can't believe Marvel released an issue of something called Giant-Sized Man-Thing. They had to know what they were doing when they did that. They had to know.
Excelsior, true believers.
They had to know. They had to know what they were doing.